Welcome to Atlantic Television Network Society Watch. This is a program where we ventilate societal issues, give them a great attention with a view to provide solutions that will benefit humanity. On today's Society Watch, we are looking at numbers of issues starting from Akwa Ibom State. Father arrested for court content on paid child support. There from Akwa Ibom State, lawmaker says Nigerians' academic curricula is outdated. From Lagos State, Catholic Bishop announced refusal to bless same-sex union. These are the issues we'll be looking at today, and joining us on today's show, Mirada, is a public affairs analyst, and I will introduce him to you when we return from this short break.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network, and joining me in the studio this afternoon is a public affairs analyst talking about John Kelly, GC. Thank you for joining me on today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You look very good.
How do we do?
That means the subsidy is really not affecting you, I see.
Well, when the subsidy comes, you need to look for a way to also come out of it.
You need to tell us that secret so that we all apply, and then, complaints will reduce. All right, let's go straight to our stories for today. From Akwa Ibom State, the Akwa Ibom State High Court, presided over by Justice Ntong, has ordered the State Commissioner of Police to arrest Henry Edith Onyong and detain him at the Uyo Correctional Center for 1 month for neglecting to care for his 3 children as ruled in a suit brought by his wife. This decision stemmed from his refusal to comply with the provision court order issued by Justice Iboro Opana on November 9, 2018. He also recalled that the court made an order that the respondent should pay 20,000 monthly as maintenance allowances, including a bag of rice, beans, gari, and other food items for his own children, in addition to pay for their school fee, medical needs, clothing, and other necessities. The judge said the father of 3 bluntly refused to abide by the court order, which amount to contempt and their weapon disrespect and affront to the magistrate of the court. Justice Ntong also recalled that in November 2019, the court ordered the registrar of the court to issue the respondent with Form 48 pursuant to Order 9, Rules 13 of Judgment Enforcement Rules and Section 72 of the Sheriff and Civil Process Act 2004, reminding him to obey the court order, but the respondent refused to obey. Justice Ntong described the conduct of defendant as satanic, adding that he is in gross contempt of the order of court and cannot go scot-free. He said the right of the court to punish whosoever disobeys its order is upheld and legitimate right, and that although the power should be sparingly used, he will make the respondent realize that the welfare of his own children should not be abandoned. Justice Ntong ordered the police to keep the father of 3 in prison custody for 1 calendar month before he will be brought out before the court to purge him of the contents. He added, by Section 1 of the Child Rights Law 2008 of Akwa Ibom State, any decision taken in any proceeding involving children should be generally made in the best interest of the child or children. The case has been adjourned to Thursday, March 28, 2014. John Kelly, first of all, we know one thing about home before you made up your mind that you want to own your own family, to start your own home. One should be ready mentally, physically, financially, and so have you. Is it something that one needs to be reminding a man who brought children to the world to take care of his children, even though they have they are calling for his arrest and the court has given him order to pay 20,000 allowances for the children, irrespective of the differences between him and his wife? Do you think the man has done the right thing by abandoning his children, or is he expecting government to take care of them?
Well, you see, in this very case, the man himself is not actually the money. I don't see the money to be the problem here. The problem is himself. He does not even want to do it. He bluntly refused to doing it. So there is more to why he doesn't want to do it, but whichever way, the law will always favor the child. Because you actually cannot bring a child to this world just to suffer the child. The child is innocent of anything that you think may be happening. So he is supposed to sit and take responsibility for his own actions. One, his actions were to bring in the child into the world. So he's entitled to his own actions. So he does not even need anyone to tell. I think even the judge is even being fair enough to have even given, but he had to follow due process enough. So I think the man is very wrong for taking such decisions, because you wouldn't tell me that you have a child, you brought the child into this world, and you have to be forced to taking care of the child, even if you're not happy with the mother of the child, or probably you have issues with the conceiving of the child. Yeah, because there could be issues. Maybe the man wouldn't have wanted the child. The wife would say, okay, I want to keep the child, or whatever may be the issue that he thinks. But the child is still innocent of all that. So I think the judgment is actually correct, and there should be more actions to be taken against the man, because I don't think, even if they arrest him, I still don't see that man doing it though.
But taking him to prison for 1 calendar month, don't you think he's going to pose a lot of issues? You know, most times when some of these individuals get into prison for what perhaps they can't really explain, or they are innocent but they don't have evidence to prove, when they get in there and come out, they turn a different thing. That will be like, okay, since I didn't do this and you take me there, let me do it now. Do you think that is going to change anything? A man that court has given order and then he bluntly refuses. What is a guarantee that he's going to adhere to that now?
No, see, that's why I said that they should do more. When I say they should do more, is that they should go into seizure of properties. They should go into seizure of properties, because if they put him in the prison, remember that 1 month now is not going to earn money. Probably if he's working now, he may also lose his job. And now if he doesn't have money at all, So how is he even going to pay in the first place?
The idea is for this man to take care of his children. And then if he sees all of this, perhaps sees his incomes as in...
Yeah.
And then how will he generate money to take care?
You know, actually...
do you know that a bag of rice now is up to...
You know, actually, see, what I'm trying to... You see, like, if he's working, if the man is working, they could actually go to the company where he's working direct, right from the court to the company, redirect part of his salary to the child. They can do that. They can as well, if he has maybe an investment or business or something that brings income, they could actually go there. I've seen a case where a lady divorced the husband, and to a point they were trying to see how they could take care of the children. They had 2 daughters, so the community had to pay everybody in the community. They also had to pay the child. So the father was like, bring my own, they bring the children on to me and I'll take care of the children. Already the children is with the mother. The mother said, no, give me and I'll take care of the children. What court did was that court had to order for an opening of accounts for the children and redirected that money there till the children are up to a certain age. So I think the best way to get this man up and doing is for them to actually hit him direct, take the money from him forcefully and give to the child. Putting him in prison will not make him do what he does not want to do. He will stay there and come out. And when he comes out, he will still not do it. You still imprison him again. And he will still come out and still not do it. So I think what the judge should do is look for a way, get this money from him and give to the children.
Okay, so what if after the whole thing, they finally realize that the man is right in whatever decision that he's taking, maybe in terms of DNA and all of those, and at the end of the day, because he doesn't really have evidence to prove, so the whole issue, the whole punishment is on him. Don't you think if he's able to, make himself have evidence to prove that this is the reason why he's not doing whatever thing that he's doing, because of course he doesn't have evidence to prove. This matter has lingered for a while now. Do you think the court will have a way of letting him go? I want to ask you this before we dive into the mother. Okay,
actually, if he has DNA is not what you need the whole time in the entire world to do. I think since the case has been in court for a while, it could have been wise for him to have done the DNA. Probably the court must have even asked for it, but if the lawyer didn't ask for it or whatever, and they will now go into doing it. For now, he's still a suspect. So until he's able to prove beyond reasonable doubt that actually maybe he's not the father or whatever reasons, until then. But for now, because actually the truth is that no man is entitled to another man's child. You have no responsibility on another person's child, but you can willingly do for another person's child. For instance, you can will your property to anybody at all. It's not your child, but you're not entitled to training that person. It's not like you must train that person. But if the person is your child, you're entitled to doing it, so you must do it. So I think if the man finds out that the child is not truly his, then he's free. But for now that he has not, he should be held responsible and he should do his job.
All right, let's look at this. I know that when 2 persons come together and make up their mind to get married, it means that they're ready to take responsibility, right? Yeah. But in a situation that most of our gender, that is females, they go into marriage without anything to hold on to. You know, that thing, the people say, what do you have to bring to the table? Yeah. And then we are talking about the financial aspects now. There's nothing to hold on to. Don't you think it's high time to advise women to do this? Because if you look at this, is one of the few stories that we have heard about this. You see most of them bring children to the world. I mean, when love is shocking them, they go extra mile to do things. But when the responsibility is now time to take responsibility, they tend to abandon the children to the women. But in a situation the woman is buoyant enough, of course, she can actually head the responsibility, right? But don't you think it's time to talk to women? Don't you think it's time to advise women? Because we have seen a whole lot. There's many that are not even online that people have not heard about. What do you have to say about that? Must we always wait for a man? A man can't...
yeah, you know, when you talk about shifting responsibilities to women, I think you need to look at a whole lot of factors. The role of a man in a home and why they say the man is the head of the family. You also need to look at that factor very well. I think there was a survey that came out, and it gave Nigeria, I think, top 10 most kidnapped nations in the world. Nigeria was not there. So they were calling countries like Turkey, country like Canada, like Australia. I was like, why? You know, what was happening there is that when you're divorced, what they call kidnap there is when you're divorced, this person can take the child and just go hide, so the father will not see. And then maybe a woman now takes the child from the father, go hide the child somewhere and start taking care of the child. So we should really be careful when we come into the area of sharing responsibilities to the wives. We should understand the role of the wife. The wife is there to support the man, not to take responsibility from the man.
That is exactly what the Holy Bible talked about, being a helpmate, right?
Yes, yes.
That was the original plan.
That is still the current plan.
But the reality,
yeah, the reality now is that the wife should still be supporting the husband.
But how come? You know, we have some homes where the husband is not doing anything, but the wife is more like the breadwinner.
Yeah.
But when something like this happens, they will still be calling on the man, come and take your responsibility, come and do what you have to do. Does it mean that the woman cannot support?
And that is where I'm still coming from. When they say support, doesn't mean you can't give. Doesn't mean you can't bring. But most women don't want to even bring. But even if they want to bring, they still want you to do that your own part as the head. You know, just like when you have a manager in a company and you are there, you're doing very well. If any issue comes up, they must actually call the manager first. Say, come and address this issue. Probably he was not even there when the thing happened. So being the head requires a lot. You must meet up that requirement.
All right, now that we have your gender, male, husbands, they create this idea in mind, I want to start my home.
Yeah.
But the moment everything that it takes responsibility starts, the hands up. They will not be like, no, either I don't want the child, or they will create something that will just make them to go out of the way, let the woman suffer. What do you have to tell your men? You need to advise your men, your people, your gender right now. Because, yes, a lot is happening in the world, and women are actually going in for it.
Well, in this very context, I wouldn't say that any man will actually have a home and then will say he wants to walk out of the home just like that. No, because it's the joy of every man. The things that comes into every man's life, head, as you're growing up, the first thing you think of is how to succeed in life. Own your own property, have your own house. I'm talking about the average African man. Build a house. After building a house, the next thing that is expected of you, in short, the next thing you'll be expecting from yourself is to get married. And when you get married, the next thing is to start having kids. So when you have these things complete, then you are considered a fulfilled man. Now, I don't see any man that will want to have all this and then let go of it. No. Except maybe there are external forces. When I mean external forces, I'm talking about crisis. Every home has their crisis. So it depends on how deep the crisis may come. Now, if you are a man and you've ventured into a relationship called marriage, you now have a family. Whatever crisis that comes, the only advice I can give you is consider the family. Consider the family. Consider the effect of that crisis or the decision you want to take as against your children and your family and your home. Because whatever you do as parents have a whole lot to do on the child, to affect the child's mental ability and also the way the child grows. If a child that grows up in a family where the father actually beats the wife, the mother, the child may come up with that notion that I can actually start beating my wife.
Okay, talking about the crisis now. Let's assume that you started a business and then because of unforeseen circumstances, you lose everything. Definitely you'll be so angry with yourself, or maybe you know that this building is not, the structure is not okay. It looks like something that will collapse. But you are like, okay, let me put my millions here, let me start business here, and everything crumble. You'll be angry because you initially have the instinct that this place is not well fixed, right?
Yeah.
That something might happen, but you don't know how soon it will be. So with the anger, will you stop eating because you are angry with yourself? Will you stop taking care of yourself because you are angry with yourself? I'm asking that question because you're talking about crisis, except you say every man wants to build a home, except there are crises, that's when they can walk away. Why do they walk away, abandoning their children that do not even know anything about whatever thing that is going on between them? Why do they stop taking care of them? Because they're angry with the wife, because they're angry with their mother, or perhaps they're angry with themselves that they made mistake of marrying this person. So why did they exert that anger?
Okay.
When you cannot stop eating because of a mistake you have made.
Well, let me just be very frank with you and tell you that there are actually some persons where if some things happen to their business, they will actually kill themselves. Many people commit suicide because of the way their business actually went. So the way people address issues are different. Everybody addresses issues in their own capacity. There are people that little thing gets to them, while there are others that no matter how hard you try it, it doesn't get to them. So we'll just bring it to being a normal human being. I think there was a case I saw yesterday in my area. A man was fighting an electrician. He was the one that even saw the electrician sit there and asked the electrician, why don't you want to come and collect your balance that I'm owing you? The electrician started talking. The next thing he started punching the electrician, they started fighting, they started throwing heavy stones. These are matured men. And then we went and said, why are people doing this? He said that he traveled 28th December, and then when he came back January, he discovered that his 4-bedroom duplex was empty. Empty, like empty, nothing was there. The wife was no more there, the children are no more there, the house is empty. And then he had to go to the neighbor to place CCTV camera. And then he saw the CCTV camera 29, he traveled to the 8, 29, he saw the electrician there, losing everything, both his AC and everything, and the wife brought a big truck and they loaded it and she left with the children and everything. So you see, now this man, now if you see him, even as he's fighting the electrician, you could see the anger in him. He's even looking like somebody that is losing, because you see he can't even shave anymore. He's looking very unkempt, as in, so it's the trauma he's going through. Meanwhile, some other persons will say, hey, well, thank you. You have removed the body. Thank you, as you even removed the carry the child and everything. So people respond to issues in different ways.
All right, the second story for today is on education. Honorable Uduak Ekpo Ufot, who represents Atn State constituency in Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, expressed concern about the outdated nature of current school curricula, stating that it fails to adequately prepare learners for future challenges and taxes. It said the academic curricula in Nigeria, and by extension Akwa Ibom State Educational Institution, nursery, primary, secondary and tertiary, is older than Nigeria itself. The curricula was passed down by the British colonial masters more than 60 years ago. What is new is that civilization, development and innovation have left it behind. Other forward-thinking economics have since moved on to improve their curriculum with current and practical content, which have ensured the production of innovative and highly creative students. For instance, in June 2023, the Education Bureaus in Hong Kong implemented the city's first curriculum on artificial intelligence for junior secondary school students. The curriculum, distributed to over 450 pupils, secondary schools, encourages teachers to incorporate 10 to 14 hours of AI education into information and communication technology subjects for students in Form 1 to 3 starting from September 2023. The curriculum covered ChatGPT, fundamental AI concepts, computer vision, computer speech and language robot reasoning, AI technique, and the social impact of AI. The lawmakers who chaired the House Committee on Science and Technology urged the government would be toiling with the future of the next generation. If the current obsolete and unfit for purpose curricula are not replaced with a mixture of the American, British, Scandinavian and Chinese curricula by the commencement of the next school year in September 2024. Honorable Ofos played the House to urge the Akwa Ibom State government to allocate at least 5% of the educational manual capital budget to ICT in line with the recommended strategies in the 2019 National Policy on Information and Communication Technologies in Education. Of course, based on what Honorable Ofort has just said, education has moved from using chalk on the board. It has moved from the normal manual typewriting to technology now. And you see, it seems in Nigeria, we're actually lagging behind because not just in Akwa Ibom State, like he said, if you notice, we are trying to inculcate this technology into schools, and teachers are still finding it a bit difficult to move with this. But again, based on what he said, in Akwa Ibom State in particular, if the budget is being allocated to ICT, do you think it will be, it is going to go a long way in changing things based on what the Honorable has just stated?
No, it won't.
Why did you say so?
Because we have a very wrong set of academias, let me use the word, in this part of the world. Our teachers, our lecturers, and our professors are one set of persons that are too lazy to doing things. They don't want to improve, they don't want to learn. So as such, no matter how much you put in, no matter how hard you put in anything you want to do, it will die off over time. Because, for instance, let's take that you've built, let's say the government now puts a budget of ICT, builds an ICT center, buys whatever they want to buy, maybe carry 2 or 3 teachers, go train them on ICT and bring them back to manage those things. Give that place, just give it just, let's say 3 years and go back there.
All right.
Everything will be so dilapidated, everything will be so destroyed.
Okay, this is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network. We'll just go on a very short break. When we return, we'll look at the story again on education. Don't go nowhere as we discuss.
City, are you ready? Get set for an unforgettable experience at Sand Palace event. Proudly present
Ibom Feast 2024.
Featuring a spectacular blend of food, dance, culture, art, lifestyle, connect, and much more. Save the date, March 2nd, 2024. Join us from 12 noon till dawn at Teyama Glassy, East West Road by Rumudara Potako. Secure sports online tickets available at www.teleafricatickets.com. Regular 3,000 naira, VIP 20,000 naira, table for 4 200,000 naira, gold 500,000 naira. Experience the enchantment at Teyama Glassy, where the heart of Akwa Ibom comes alive. Grab your tickets at the Big Restaurant, the Suka, Pepperoni, the Big Restaurant, and Market Square. Official sponsors: Atlantic Television Network, Wish FM 99.5 Port Harcourt. And for sponsorship opportunities, contact 08036898060, 09157605763, 08063487600. Ibom Feast 2024 is a celebration of Akwa Ibom's richness. Don't miss out the feast of a lifetime. See you there.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network. And before we went on the short break, we were discussing on education. Honorable Ofort spread the House to urge the Akwa Ibom State government to allocate at least 5% of education annual capital budget to ICT in line with the recommended strategies in 2019 National Policy on Information and Communication. Like you said before that, you said no, that even if they allocate half of this budget to ICT, it is not going to make anything work. But again, you know that this technology is children from, let's say, from 5 to 15 to 27. They are the ones really maximizing the technology that is going on here. And if you go to some of these schools, you realize that the teachers there that are from, let's say, they're elderly, okay? How do you teach an elderly person? Because as long as I know, some of these teachers, the only thing they do with their phone is making call, to make call. They really don't know any other thing. So how long will it take for you to inculcate this in them, for them to be able to disseminate it to students?
Okay, like I was saying earlier, I said it will not work because I know that we have lazy set of teachers in this part of the world. Both from the higher institution, both our professors are lazy, because you see a professor of science, maybe a professor of mechanical engineering cannot even fix his own car. I'm just giving you that as an instance. And he's teaching you automobile. Probably he's even teaching you combustion, and yet he does not even understand how the engine works. When he opens his engine, he cannot even do it. So these are the things we should first look at. If he wants to do anything, he should start by training the teachers. And not just training the teachers, make the teachers love it. It's what you know, what you love, that you can teach another. If we have, like for instance, we see that our people here, we travel out of the country, and when we get to these countries, they say the slave trade is this, is that, but when we get there, we look for jobs there. Some of our jobs are teaching jobs. We teach over there, we do other things over there. Ask yourself, how many of these schools around, how many of these government schools around has foreign teachers in them? Everybody has their own sense of reasoning. You come from a different place, I come from a different place. When I'm teaching you from my own angle. You're also learning from this other angle. So that will help the child to learn better. But here, we want to use, because we say we want to create job for our people, we want to use 100% of our people in the schools to teach. Now, this now makes the teachers feel this is community chance. To build an ICT hall, bought a whole lot of computer, then we're having desktop and all the rest of them. We bought a lot of them. Where are they today? Where are they? And then even other government that came started even building ICT, build almost in all government schools, they were building ICT. The question is, where are they today? So you see, we are not even ready for it. So don't, if you pump in money, that is a waste of money for now.
So in other words, based on what Ofort is saying, because he has spread the government to do something, are you saying that the government, they have done their best, but the receivers are not ready to make things work?
They're not the receivers, the middlemen.
They are the middlemen.
Yeah, the middlemen, that's the teachers. Because when the government does it, it is now left for the teacher to teach the students. So when the teachers are not able to manage it, you know, Nigeria's problem is management. So if you go to our schools, for instance, if you go to our polytechnics, you go to our universities, if you go to the labs, if you go to their warehouse, their workshops, oh my God, there's nothing that is not there.
Okay,
using it.
But you also talked about, you asked the question, how many foreign bodies are in this school? How many foreigners? Because you have to learn from this angle and also this angle. And then we have some of our government school where 9 months salaries are being owed. They are not even taking care of teachers here. So what is the tendency that if we bring some of these foreigners in, that we will be able to take care of them? And you should know one thing about foreigners. If you know that their people are not being taken care of, they will not waste time. They will take them back. Yeah. It's not like us here. So now, if we bring them in and then their salary is not being paid as normal, you know, that's one thing that we are, the laborers are suffering from in Nigeria. And then what's happening?
That's why they should even bring them in the first place, at least to make the government sit up. Yes, when the government sees that these people are actually working, and then start seeing dividends of the job, have you not asked yourself one question? Do they used to owe NNPC workers?
But let me ask you. You say if they see evidence that they are working. So
Yes.
are you saying that these ones that are owing 9 months salary, 3 months salary, they are not working?
No, they are
There's
actually
no
working. No,
evidence?
they are working. I'm not saying they are not working, but I'm just trying to say, you know, the system of government we have here is they pay more attention to what gives them income. Yes, that's just the truth. So I asked you a question. I asked you, have you ever seen an NNPC staff being owed before? Because they are generating money for them. So they know that they can't owe them. So if we have a system where our students can start manufacturing things and government can start seeing that, oh, these students are doing this and these teachers are the ones teaching them to do these things that they are doing, I think that way government will pay more attention to education. See, the truth is, we are talking about our curriculum, being outdated. It's not just outdated, though. Our own is expired. It has expired long time ago, because if you watch the trend of the world, we are no more, the world is no more thinking 1 + 1 is equal to 2. Right now, the world is thinking 1 + 1 is equal to 1. That's what they are thinking now.
Are you sure the government is really looking for evidence? Because we have some students in our country that have created nothing out of, something out of nothing.
Okay.
Like, when you see it, you marvel. How did they come up with this? But at the end of the day, they will just come up by saying, oh, we appreciate you. We have one of the best brain. You are doing well. We will give you 100,000. And then it ends there. Have you not seen people using cotton? Have you not seen people using trash? Or all this to make something?
Yeah,
so if the government is looking for evidence, and then we have those kind of different talents, beautiful brains in the country, and they are not showing example that if this person was able to do this, and the government give this person scholarship, or better still did this and did that, then I think I should equip myself. So when you're talking about evidence, what exactly do you mean?
Okay. Now, you see, the era of using carton to produce maybe a car or produce an helicopter or whatever, with the world has also passed that stage.
Oh,
That's long time ago.
I mean, they're really behind.
Yes, that's long time ago. So what we are even doing now is what has the world, the technology has already explained that you can actually produce a car from carton. The technology has already explained that. What we should be looking at is the future. What these advanced countries are doing now in their primary schools is the future. They no longer concentrate on what has. You don't even need an expert brain to know that you can actually construct a carton and put it wherever within a battery or whatever, and it will move. You don't need it. You just need to go do research.
All right, now that Ofort said they should give half of the allocation to ICT, that it will work, and you are saying that you are not buying that idea because it will not work, even if the government puts everything. What will work for us so that we can at least be in the middle?
What will work for us is for the government to employ reasonable ICT teachers first. Reasonable ICT teachers. Forget their academic standard, whether they have PhD or not. Employ people that are already in the field doing that job clearly, just as a craft center is. Now, pay more attention to them, make them understand that this is your job, and if this does not work, you won't get paid.
So we need more skill now, not certificates.
Not certificates, skills, more skills, and train them, retrain them. When you have the skills, let me just tell you the truth. You see, most of our teachers, once you're employed, there's no more training for you again. That's where you stop. Government don't train any teachers in any subject. So when they employ you, they just abandon. Highest they can just do is to hold a seminar and say the teachers should come, and then the primary school teacher, they're having seminar today, they'll just go there. How many of them have other certificate programs since they became teachers?
So don't you think the issue lies with the government and not the middlemen?
The government and the teachers. Because you have to improve yourself, knowing that you're an academia, you're a teacher. Being a teacher means you have to teach. Teaching means you have to know. So you have to build what you're using, because that's your office, that's your job. You need to build it first. So even if government is not doing it for you, it's now your own personal responsibility. That's why you see professors go into research. It's from their purse. If you go to outside country, you go to advanced countries, you see that they do research, they invent things. Government don't sponsor any inventions. You must start the invention yourself. Maybe along the line, government can come in.
The only thing is because of the system, because over there, if you invent something and then it beautiful for to behold. You see government will come in and support you. But over here, if you invent something, no matter how much you put in, they don't really appreciate it, apart from just praise and all.
No,
don't you think is the way the system is being structured?
No. That's why we always get it wrong. They always make us understand that the government is not doing anything. That's a lie. That's a big lie. How many of them have invented anything and the government did not sponsor it? How many? When the government brings in money, they will take the money and abandon that project. How many? Okay, one person should come up and say, I invented this thing and it's necessary in the world needs it, and say government abandoned it. No one.
All right, the last story for today is on LGBTQ. The Catholic Bishop of the Lagos Ecclesiastical Province, encompassing the Lagos Archbishops Ijebu Ode and Abeokuta Dioceses, have announced that their refusal to bless same-sex marriages. Their stance was outlined in the communique released after their plenary meeting on January 26 in Lagos. Despite Pope Francis finally permitting Catholic priests to bless same-sex union, the bishop maintained their position, citing concern that such blessing would contradict Catholic Church doctrine. In Catholic tradition, a blessing is a prayer or plea, typically offense by a minister to invoke God's favor upon their individuals being blessed. Speaking through the communique signed by their chairman and secretary, Archbishop of Lagos and Bishop of Ijebu Ode, Most Reverend Alfred Martin and Most Reverend Francis Adesina, respectively, the bishop declared no to blessing of same-sex union. They said they were in total agreement with the position of the Catholic Bishop Conference of Nigeria and that of the Symposium of Episcopal Conference of Africa and Madagascar's concern the blessing of homosexual union or same-sex couples. We affirm that the teaching of the Catholic Church on marriages as the union of a man and woman in a stable and exclusive relationship, open to bearing children, remain the same. We also affirm the Church teaching on human sexuality and urge the faithfuls to be guided by it, they say. The Vatican has earlier in 2021 declared that the Catholic Church would not bless gay marriage because God cannot bless sin. You know, in an organization, we have the head and then keep going, vertical order. And you know that if you disobey your leader, it means that whether your leader is right or wrong, the first thing is to obey, right?
Yeah.
And then in this case, Pope Francis has given order because he's now let's say the general overseer of this Orthodox Church, a Catholic in particular. And they are saying that some popes, not just in Nigeria, we also have somewhere in France where a pope came up to say, a bishop came up to say that they cannot adhere to that instruction that Pope has given. And one will ask, don't you think that this is bringing division in a Christendom? Even though Pope has said that he doesn't care about those who are ready to fall out. So what do you think about the Christendom?
Okay, I think one thing is politics coming into the Christian community. Politics. Pope is playing international politics. The Pope himself is caught in the middle of international politics, where the world leaders sits with him in a conference and they pressure him, pressure the Vatican, pressure the leaders of the Catholic on what to do, because actually the Pope is like a president of the Rome. So he is controlling his own nation. He's controlling a whole nation. So he has the power to make laws there, but does not have the power to make laws here. So one thing is, if let's assume the bishops here agrees to do what the Pope has said, how effective is it going to be in Nigeria when Nigeria law states that once you're caught doing it, you'll be in prison for a number of years?
14.
Good. Now, if they are blessing the marriage as Pope has directed, and then the police walks into the church where they are doing such thing, and police apprehends everybody that is there, including the bishop, will Pope come from where he is to Nigeria and tell Nigeria government that you must release them? No. So when you look at certain orders that is being given to you is questionable, you need to ask, can this really work? When you see it's not working, you don't take all orders. You now refrain. Say, no, please, sir, this one, we should review it. Your own place is okay, oh, my own place is not okay. So I think it will not work here. By the way, why should? Because this matter has always been up for multiple times, and then we keep asking ourselves, what is the purpose of marriage? What is the primary reason for getting married? If two persons want to go and start doing their gay whatever, and it's their business, they should go ahead and do it, and don't use it to disturb another person. Now, putting it inside marriage, what is the primary purpose of marriage? Why is there a marriage in the first place? Should be considered. Why is there a marriage? Now, if you have not known the reason why there is marriage, then you should understand that it is not meant for same sex. It's opposite sex. The same Catholic are the only church in the whole world that their priests are not allowed to marry. The same Catholic are the same church now that is saying gay marriage are approved. The same them. Now, what if we now look at it? I don't want to go into it in details, but what if we now look at it and say, okay, maybe as the priests are not allowed to marry,
to bear children,
and to marry, they're trying to make the entire world be like them. What if we now look at it from that direction? So we wouldn't just want to jump into telling them anything, because many people are reading meaning into their actions. It affects you, therefore you want to put it on every other person. I'm not allowed to sleep with a woman, I'm not allowed to do anything. Everybody, you're not allowed to do the same thing. Let's be within ourselves. I can't have a child, you two don't have a child. So is that the purpose of God for mankind? Say we should go here into the world and multiply, feed the earth. You are not telling God that the world is overpopulated, you want to reduce it. It doesn't really make too much sense. If the world is overpopulated...
So the Pope is telling God that the world is
overpopulated. He needs to reduce the population. But God said, go and multiply, fill it. And now you on your own wisdom, you would think the world has already... Look, you know what is...
Wait, again, do you think, because it's Nigerian... bishops that are against this now, talking about the story now. Do you think they're actually against this because they are Nigerians and looking at the punishment that is attached to same-sex marriage? LGBTQ here in Nigeria, the 14 years imprisonment. Do you think they're doing that because of that, or do you think that if it were somehow outside country, they would have at least aligned with the Pope?
Yes, that's the first reason why they are doing it.
Because of the law?
Yes, the first reason why they are doing this is because of the law. Then the other, because how many bishops from Rome have kicked against it?
It's just about
no, from Rome.
Okay.
Rome itself. How many? No. So you need to look at your audience, your followers. Are they on this path or not? If they are not, you need to be at the path where they are, because it will take a whole lot to convince them.
But he's saying that he doesn't care who falls out.
The Pope himself.
Yes, that's what he said in the last story.
Yes, because he is controlling people that he can impose things on. So if he doesn't care, he should sit down there and relax. What happened to the Anglican may also happen to the Catholic. Because you know Anglican was the Church of England, the whole world. Now later they now start breaking. You have Church of Nigeria, you have Church of this, you have Church of that, Church of
Church of America.
Church of America everywhere now. So he shouldn't push Catholic towards that direction, because now the bishops are beginning to have sections and making decisions by themselves. Before you know it, you will hear one morning that there is Pope of Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much, John Kelly. This is where we draw the curtain for today. It was good having you on the show. And to our viewers, we are saying thank you for joining us. If you missed out, you can join us on all our social media platforms. I am Immaculata Irikana. Join us on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X, Atlantic TV Net, website, atlanticnetwork.tv. You can also get our app from Play Store, Atlantic Television Network. And do remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching, and continue to stay connected on Atn Socials till we come your way next time. Good afternoon.